What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, man, let's get right on into it, bro. So this is it, man. This is what we've been fighting for all year long. We are definitely not supposed to be here. This was the this was a place that we wanted to be and that we thought we were going to be with Trey Lance. But unfortunately, throughout the season, things have happened and we just couldn't get there. But the beauty of it is we still have a quarterback that got us where we needed to be. Okay. So the beauty of this is, everybody more so lately has been using the term house money. And the reason they've been using the term house money is because that's basically what's going on. We are literally playing with house money. We aren't supposed to be here. We have a third string rookie quarterback who nobody necessarily had drafted, all that good stuff. Everything is there. So here's the thing. For me, I am loving every second of it. I am very happy that Brock Purdy is here. This is a great situation for us to be in because this is where we wanted to be. We're one game away from the Super Bowl, which is, fantastic considering all of the things that we faced throughout the season. I mean, you got to think about it. Up to this point, what do the 49ers do? They start off early and look bad. And we're like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Roy Boy? You're like, dang, I don't know how the season's gonna go, man. Things start to get a little bleak, start to look bad. So you're like, you know what, man? It's frustrating, but kind of is what it is. So then you turn around and you think to yourself, how can we make this better? You start the season off, second game of the year, Trey Lance breaks his ankle. So then Jimmy comes in. Now, as I've stated before, the thing that pisses me off is the fact that when Jimmy came in, we started throwing the ball. But when Trey was in, we just kept running the ball like nobody's business. We acted like he ain't know how to throw the football. Good morning, Mom. But like I said, Trey breaks his ankle. Jimmy comes in. We start throwing the ball. We have still a couple more games where it's like, I don't know. Then next thing you know, right after we get our teeth kicked in by the Kansas City Chiefs, what happens? We go on the run, and we've been on the run ever since. And right when that Kansas City game happened, who did we pick up? Christian McCaffrey. So since CMC has officially started for this team, we've never lost a game. And I can appreciate that, and I can attribute that to Christian McCaffrey being, that dynamic of a football player. It's fantastic to watch him get out there and play. The dual threat that he is, everybody knows. Most Niner fans feel the same way. He was a Pro Bowl snub. All of these things come into play. And then, you fast forward a couple games, Jimmy Garoppolo, gets out of the pocket, thinks he's trying to make a play. Next thing you know, he gets tackled. Now his ankle's gone. They say, well, it doesn't require surgery, but it's going to keep him out. So we're like, shit. We look to Brock Purdy in the Miami game and go, all right, kid, got to get out there and spin it. Let's see what happens. A lot of Niner fans are, at that point, we're kind of like, shit, we got to go to the third round. We got to go to the third QB. This guy is, the last pick in the draft. No one expected him to even play. But there should have been something that told us, because we signed Nate Sudfeld to a $2 million deal and then cut him and allowed this kid to stay. So that says that they saw something in him that they didn't see in Sudfeld, and they said, forget it. We're going to roll with it. We got Trey. Jimmy's the backup. Purdy's the third stringer. So we were good. What's going on, Rod D. Art? Yes, sir. It does smell like destiny. Snatching number 6 like Debo snatches change. I love it. So it's definitely something that's crazy, man. Like I know for a fact that it was definitely, a very big opportunity for the kid. I'm loving everything that happened. And it's going to be a tall task for us to be able to pick, when we are going into the going into the NFC Championship game and figuring out what's next. So it's going to be a rough road for us in this game because there's a lot to look into and a lot to go through. But I can say this: we weren't supposed to be here, and I'm appreciative of the fact that we are here, and there's nothing, anyone can tell us about that. So, it works out well for both of us, and I can't be mad, at anything that anyone else says. Give me just a quick second here, people. I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but give me a sec. Let me see. All right. So what happened in this situation with us was we went through all that. We get to the third stringer and we're unsure. We don't know. But next thing you know, what happens? This kid comes out and he shines, to quote Rihanna, shine bright like a diamond. He went out, he lost no faith or anything. He was confident in his abilities and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So I love that, man. I was just like, holy crap, like this kid is amazing. Like he goes through, he does the things that he needs to do, and in these last 10, 12 games, it's been great for us to watch because we haven't seen the mistakes that Jimmy Garoppolo would make. And I'm not going to turn this into a shit on Jimmy type situation. I'm just giving a comparison. So usually, every now and then we're kind of holding our breath. We're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Ugh, I don't know. Jimmy would have done this or crap. We were waiting for an interception. You know it's gonna happen. You just don't know when, and you just pray to God it's early so we can recover from it and not late. But with Brock Purdy, you're not thinking about that. You just want the kid to be poised, make sure he makes the right throws, and he does the correct things. And I can't say that he has not. He's done a fantastic job doing what he was supposed to do and being the guy that we all hoped for him to be. And then at the same time, that some of us didn't really necessarily know what he was going to be. I definitely know I didn't know. I can guarantee you, I'll tell you that I did not know this kid was going to be this good. He was never on my radar. I don't know. So the cool thing is, when it comes down to it, we are fortunate and we are very happy that Brock Purdy is here. He's got a billion nicknames out there, but I'm just not gonna mention because I ain't calling no dude that ever in my life. But I like to call him Glock Purdy. I always say he's got the 9 milli cocked and loaded and he's ready, I'm saying, to fire off a couple of rounds. And, by those rounds, it's footballs throwing them over to Debo, Kiddo Ayuk, Jennings, whoever's there and open and available. So let's get into some information here because I did write a few things down. So this is it, ladies and gents, the NFC Championship game, the fight for the right to represent our conference in the Super Bowl. This is the game everyone predicted and foresaw when the playoffs began. The Eagles are flying high, coming off a beatdown of the Giants. The 49ers are rolling on a 12-game win streak from the season into the playoffs and had a tough task against a very good Dallas defense. But let's take a deep dive into this matchup and a little history, if you will. We'll break down some of the key matchups along with some of the X factors, and who knows, maybe a score prediction. I'm not big on those, by the way, but I do believe this will be a closer game than people think. I see Eagles fans out there talking shit, making it seem as if we're nobodies, that they're just going to run all over us, and we have no answer for their offense or defense for that matter. I beg to differ in so many ways. The 49ers and Eagles have played 35 times and only once in the playoffs. The 49ers lead the series 20-14-1. So we tied once, but we are up on them by 6 games. And the one time we met in the playoffs way back in 96, we beat them in a wild card game. So we're one up on them in that category. Now let's take a look at the other stuff. We'll go matchup for matchup with each position group and see how we stack up against the Eagles, starting with QB Jalen Hurts. When you look at experience, the dual threat that he is, and the skills he possesses, it's easy to say Brock is not the better QB. So let's look at the playoff numbers in general to gauge these two against each other and be fair. So remember, I'm just talking about playoffs, I'm not talking about regular season. So Hurts is completing 60%, 66% of his passes, only has 154 yards passing in the game versus the Giants. He also had 9 carries for 38 yards and a rushing TD in that game. Hurts had 2 TDs, no interceptions. So he accounted for 3 touchdowns out of the Eagles. I believe they scored 38 points. Not bad for that one game against the Giants. Now for Purdy, it's 2 games, and his numbers are as follows: a 62.7 completion percentage, 546 yards passing, 3 TDs, and no interception. Purdy has 7 carries for 24 yards and a TD as well. So when you look at just the postseason numbers, Purdy has him beat in passing yards per game. Hurts has him beat in completion percentage, but Purdy has one more passing TD than Hurts. Both could move and shift the pocket and have mobility, but the edge in that category goes to Hurts. He is a very smart runner, doesn't take many hits, knows when to go down. Hurts has a better arm, obviously, with only a 4% difference in the completion percentage, so that's not bad. So just based off the playoffs, these guys are fairly equal. Now, Hurts has played more and has the experience, so I will concede that due to that, Hurts is the guy. Now, before we go any further, there is one thing I want to address. A lot of Eagles fans are saying we haven't played anyone, and that's why we are where we are. So let's take a look at both teams and their schedules to see what goes on. Before I do this, let me preface my comments by saying we don't make the schedule. We just play who's on it. For both teams, in a sense, it is what it is. Out of the 17-game schedule, the 49ers played 9 teams that didn't make the postseason. So that means we played 8 games against teams that did. Those teams had a combined record of 52-101 due to the Commanders' tie, of course. Now, for the Eagles, it is 10 teams that didn't make the playoffs. So they only played 7 that did. That didn't make the playoffs. 10 teams didn't make the playoffs as well, and their combined record was 62-105-2. So who really had the easier schedule? We play a lot of the same teams as well, but this isn't any indicator that they are better than us. So for me, when you take a look at that, it doesn't tell you that the Eagles were better because they played a couple more teams that made the playoff. They have, done anything different. Their schedule wasn't overly fantastic either. So with that being said, why are we getting all the flack? Why do we always have to make sure that we're the guys that are doing things right? And we're the ones that, good morning to everybody. Good morning to Roy Boy, my boy D Sizzle. You already know what it is in the building. Bryant, what's going on? So for me, just looking at that right there are some games that everybody struggles in, and it made it harder for them to beat people. It wasn't like they just had a walk in the park and the Eagles were just smashing any and everything that was going on, man. Like, they didn't go in there and just beat the crap out of everyone. I'm sorry. They did not. And neither did we. There were some games where we had, a couple touchdown lead or we won by a few touchdowns, won by a field goal, whatever the case is. But my point that I'm making is what they're saying is unfounded. Like, y'all, but we both played teams that didn't really do, great. But that's not, once again, it's not our fault. We don't make the schedule. We just play who's on it. So that's what I want people to understand about that. The next thing on the list is, Jalen Hurts has looked pretty good in the playoffs. He's looked all right. But, they had the extra week of rest. There's only one game. The issue is that shoulder is still hurting. And you can tell because I've literally watched everybody all over all of the media, saying, hey, he rolls this way, or he basically does certain things to avoid putting pressure on that shoulder in any way. He rolls a specific way. He does certain things. So the key for us is just not to get any stupid penalties. And I'm going to point out 2 people, and I don't want you guys to think that I'm picking on them. This is just what I have seen throughout both of their careers, and especially more so lately from one of them. So Jimmy Ward, the hit on Dak Prescott was not necessary. So in this game, Jimmy, let's try to refrain from that. Don't do that. We don't need an extra 15 yards because the Eagles are a very high-powered offense. We do not want to give them any type of indication that they can be better than us or they can do whatever they want. I don't want any of that. I want them to be able to just come in and have to face us one-on-one and not do all that. You know what I mean? I don't want to give them any free yards. We have to play mistake-free football. Will a penalty happen? Of course, penalties happen, but you can limit the amount of penalties. And if you can control it, don't do that. The other person is Dre Greenlaw. He's been playing fantastic, but I've seen him every now and then with a couple of bonehead plays where he does stuff that he knows he doesn't have to do. If you see a guy's going out of bounds and you know he's going out of bounds, his momentum is carrying him, don't do it. Don't touch him. Don't even look at him. If you see the quarterback sliding feet first, he stopped. He's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? If he gets out there, he's an actual runner, lay his ass the fuck out. Hurt him. And I don't mean hurt him like purposely or anything like that. I don't mean that. I'm saying give him a good hit. Rock his world. And don't let him think and make him think twice about getting out of that pocket and running. So the crazy thing is Jalen Hurts is great from inside the pocket, but when he goes outside the pocket, his completion percentage drops, I believe, like 52% or something like that. So that's definitely a big gap, man. Yeah. So in this game, the next thing we look at, honestly, is the running backs. Now, when we come to this position, you look at it, they've got Kenneth Gainwell and they've got Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. So Hurts is, a big focal point of their offense. So on the season, ladies and gents, this is ridiculous. The Eagles had 2,509 yards rushing. That is insanity. Both of their running backs had double-digit TDs. I'm sorry, not both of the running backs, just one. Miles Sanders had 11 TDs. He was averaging 4.9 yards per carry. Jalen Hurts had 13, and he was averaging 4.6 yards per carry. That man almost had 1,000 yards rushing. That's insane. So Kenneth Gainwell is there. He only had 240 yards rushing for the season, but he did have 4 TDs. He is averaging 4.5 yards a carry. Like everybody there is averaging a good amount of yards per carry. Even the fabled Trey Sermon that we cut, I think he's their third string running back. He's even averaging 9 yards a carry, but he only had 2 carries for 19 yards. So it kind of is what it is on that one. So when you look at those numbers, like that is tremendous. Over 2,500 yards, 32 TDs from the rush game. Like that's fantastic. That's what you're supposed to do. On the season, Jalen Hurts only had 22 TDs and six INTs. But, if you add the touchdown and he had 38 in total. So, you can see why Jalen Hurts is out there doing what he does. You got to appreciate that to an extent. So then when you flip over to the 49ers and you take a look at us, we totaled 2,360 yards rushing, but we had so many people running the ball that it was insane. But the main focal points we're going to talk about are the guys who are still here. 468 yards of that came from a guy that we traded to Miami and Jeff Wilson Jr. But CMC has 746 yards rushing in 11 games, 6 TDs. He was averaging 4.7 yards per carry. That's great for someone only playing 11 games. So that tells you pretty much he would have been double-digit TDs along with at least 1,000 yards if he'd have been here the whole season. I can almost all but guarantee that. So Elijah Mitchell, he only played 5 games. He was averaging 6.2 yards per carry. He even had 2 touchdowns. Then you go over to Jordan Mason, 258 yards. He's averaging 6 yards a carry, 1 TD. And, of course, we got Deebo Samuel. He had 232 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns. So when you look at it from that standpoint, as it pertains to the, just the sheer numbers, we're not far off from them as far as a collective total. The only difference is it's more so by running backs and not by QBs. So their collective total, a really big bulk of that came from Jalen Hurts being the runner that he is. So we want to be able to contain that. We want to make sure that this guy is not out there running all over us. Every team has, shout out Jason DePonte and Sprint Right Option Podcast, man. And shout out the guy who donated $200, man. That was man, I don't think in all my years of watching, guys on YouTube and seeing donations, I think the largest one I saw was maybe 100. but that dude donated $200, man. So whoever that is, shout out to you, man. That was a great donation, man, and it was a beautiful thing to see somebody, go ahead and open the door to be able to say, hey, man, I want to support these guys, and I'm going to drop a nice little bit of change in there. But when it comes down to everything that we have, as far as the running back situation, as far as what they have, we actually have the better situation because we still have CMC. We've got Elijah Mitchell. We've got Jordan Mason. So they've got Kenneth Gainwell and we got Miles Sanders. They're going to lean on Sanders a lot more, obviously, because he was their leading rusher. And Gainwell's more so Gainwell is their CMC. That's basically what he is. Gainwell is their CMC. He's the guy that Real Talk Niner Talk. Hey, what's going on, man? Real Talk in the building, bro. Hey, if you ain't watching Real Talk Niner Talk, you are missing some great content. Those guys do the same thing that I do, bro. They keep it a buck. Period. They don't play with you. They don't. They love it. They love football. Yeah, guys, I upgraded, man. I got a green screen for my nephew, and I've been wanting to try it out, and then I believe it was Bashar, shout out 49er Minded. He let me know how to use it. Him and then my guys from the Forever Faithful podcast, Brandon and Christian and 49er Media, all of my guys. Hey, if Real Talk, if y'all want to come hang out with your boy, you already know what it is. Just let me know. I'll shoot the link. But it's an issue for other people. I'm saying when it comes down to it, we as a collective, we love running the ball. That's what Kyle Shanahan's system is based off of. It's a run-first offense. Basically, it's a run to set up the pass, whether it be play action or us just, doing some nice bootlegs, whatever the case may be. That's what we do. So when it comes to the run, I'm going to give us the edge because we have guys that do everything, and that's what we do. And we have a bigger committee, so to speak. And our committee does not include the quarterback. And to be honest with you, in this game, I don't think you want Jalen Hurts running because if he decides to try to pull one of those, I'm going to run and get in Dak owns Jalen Hurts, dude who will be eliminated tomorrow. Just to tell you the truth, Dak owns Jalen Hurts. Thank you for coming in and hanging out in the stream. It's going to be the Eagles that will be eliminated. It's going to be a closer game than people think, but we are definitely going to win. I have every bit of faith. And I got a new little segment at the end. Shout out to everybody who does segments. Real Talk Niner Talk has a great thing where they break down things. They have specific segments. Kev is the DC. You got Super Dave, the OG. He does his breakdowns. Every now and then you get a little sizzle says once in a while. But Don is the mastermind behind a lot of that. He does all the production. Tony Montana was good, bro. So shout out to them. They're definitely an inspiration with what they do. They do fantastic work. All of my guys, Nitty Gritty Niners, everybody, Nothing But Niners. All of those guys. Team Cali was had, and yes, they will be wingless. That is what I'm talking about. So we'll have a segment toward the end of this called Talk Your Shit. And I'm going to lay into them because I'm tired of these fans, with what they've been doing. But let's stick to the script for right now. So we got it in the running backs. You know what I'm saying? We're doing well. So now let's flip over to the wide receivers. Now, here's the situation, man. It's so hard to try to figure out who's the better receivers because we both have formidable guys. We've got BA and Debo, and they've got AJ and Devontae. And I'm telling you right now, what's going on, CarCast? Rob D. Art, everybody in the building, what's going on? I'll tell you this. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, CarCast. This is what I will tell you, man. It's a toss-up because these guys are great. Out of all those receivers I named, A.J. Brown is obviously the fastest guy out of all four of those dudes. He just has tremendous speed. Yeah. We got, now our third stringer, we got Juwan. They've got Quez Watkins, but I think their main guys are usually A.J. and Devontae. So let's take a look at the numbers real quick. And these are season numbers, by the way. Remember, I'm just going off of that because I'm just trying to give a body of work. So, wow, they had two receivers over 1,000 yards. A.J. Brown had 1,496 yards. He was averaging 17 yards a catch, 11 TDs. Devontae Smith, 12.6 yards per catch, 1,196 yards. He had 7 TD catches, and then after that, it just kind of tails off. because there isn't anyone else that you look at that's a receiver that really did anything. I'm dead ass. When I'm looking at these stats right now, literally the next leading receiver is Dallas Goedert, 702 yards with 3 TDs. But there's not another receiver that has yardage. Okay, my bad. Quez Watkins, he's got 354 and he's got 3 TDs, averaging 10.7 yards per catch. So you flip over to the Niners and we take a look at us. BA was our only 1,000-yard receiver, 1,015 yards. He had 8 TDs. Next leading receiver for us is George Kittle, 765 yards, 11 TDs. Deebo Samuel, 632 yards and only 2 TDs. He only played 13 games. So then you drop down, and the next guy that's leading and receiving, he only played 11 games, is Christian McCaffrey. So what this tells me is we as teams key in on guys, and those are the guys that we throw to. So your main guys that you're going to see the ball go to are Kittle, Ayuk, and Deebo. Those are the guys. You'll catch CMC out of the backfield here and there because he is that dual threat. It makes more sense. And then for them, it looks like literally they throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and throw to no one else outside of Dallas Goedert. Am I really worried about Dallas Goedert? Not necessarily, strictly based on the fact that I have Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, and Azeez Al-Shaair, who all can cover a tight end. And, of course, Fred Warner would be the main guy to cover the tight end. So there's nothing to really be concerned about when it comes to that. But, when you look at just the sheer numbers, you could say, based off just those numbers that, hey, they got 2,000-yard receivers, one guy in double digits, the other guy was just 3 away. Yeah, you could go ahead and give him a little bit of an edge in the receiver department. I'm not going to be too mad about that, though. But, it's closer than you think. So, when it comes to the receivers, you give a little bit of the edge to the Eagles, but not much, not a lot. You know what I mean? So it's different when it comes down to it. And let's see here real quick. Give me a sec. Let me see here. Just trying to find something real quick. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. So we're good there. So the next thing is, C. McCarver Jr. in the building. What's good with you, family? We are okay. So really quick side note, because you put this out there, so I'm going to go ahead and address it. He says, I wonder how many Niner fans will be at the game. Eagles fans are wild. There will be Niner fans. The issue is they pulled the same bullshit the Rams pulled. Mike McGlinchey was talking about it. He was stating that when it comes down to it, I guess they were doing the same thing. It's like if you didn't have a certain zip code or area code or something like that, basically they were only selling you one ticket. So they're not going to allow us to rent out their stadium. I know Eagles fans. They are not having that bullshit. The Rams fans can't fucking control it because we literally are so deep in California that it doesn't make a difference. Tony Montana says he heard about 30% Niners. Yeah. And then we've got a ton of content creators going. I believe Jason Aponte, Breezy, Mose, Peachy. There's just we're gonna have representation there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be hard. Terra Dome, good morning, good brother. He said, my dude, what did it? Tony Montana, he said, them Bengals are going to see my little friend. But, hey, man, it's definitely a toss-up. When it comes to the tight ends, I have no aspirations of going into numbers. George Kittle is the better tight end. He's the better blocker. He's the better tight end, period. What's going on, Cook Sports? Salute, good brother. I have no ambitions of even going into that, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care who we face. George Kittle, to me, is the best tight end in the league. If they use that man properly in the passing game, he can continue to keep that moniker. The reason being is because Travis Kelce only catches. He does not block very well. He ain't got nowhere near the skills to block like George Kittle does. And Dallas Goedert ain't no George Kittle. So while I respect Dallas Goedert and what he's done all season, fuck you, Dallas Goedert. George Kittle is way better than you'll ever be, period. So next thing to look at it is the offensive line. This is where it gets tough, man, because the Eagles have a great offensive line. I'm going to give it to them. I'm just going to be, and when I'm saying this stuff, I'm just being honest. It's not that I'm saying that we're going to lose or anything, but I'm just being honest. So the next thing is when it comes down to the offensive line, it's just they're They're not better at left tackle. Trent Williams is the best left tackle to ever play the game. But along the other lines, all the other guys have experience. I believe they have 3 Pro Bowlers on their O line. We're definitely not giving them. We're definitely not saying that Mike McGlinchey is better than their right tackle. Here's the issue: Mike McGlinchey last game got bitched by fucking who was it? Michael Parsons. I mean, he literally got fucking hip tossed like it was a WWE match. No man that damn big should let somebody that damn small hip toss them. And the other thing is, here's a flashback for you. COVID year, we were playing the Saints. CJ Gardner-Johnson bull rushed Mike McGlinchey. Right? Crazy shit. So, unfortunately, kind of is what it is. We got to give it to him on the O-line. So, we ran through the offense. Let's flip to the other side of the ball. Defensively. Defensively on the season, the Eagles have a real formidable team. Real Talk Niner Talk says, Philly, drivable for me, New York City, but not trying to get locked up. Dead idiot ass fans. I feel you, man. Sometimes it is better to stay home because some people drive you crazy, man. I know me. I'm kind of like that with Cowboy fans because a lot of them. Here's the thing. I want to say 80% of Cowboy fans are delusional and 20% are actually realistic. I know my wife is a Cowboys fan and she is a realistic fan. She knows whether you're going to win or going to lose, even though she doesn't follow football very much. She knows the game very well, and she can tell you straight up, like, yeah, we're going to win or no, this is not about to happen. She hates Zeke Elliott. She didn't like Tony Romo. Like that's what I mean. A fan who has competence. The other 80%, these motherfuckers, they done lost, and I guarantee they already even claimed the Super Bowl next year. That's how bad it is. It's pathetic. So next up on the docket, the D-line, man, they have way more sacks. But shout out to Jesse from Last Second Sports. He went ahead and did the digging. Those were in bunches. So it wasn't like it was consistent over the whole year. It was in bunches. It was in spots where they just went ape shit on somebody's offensive line. And I understand that. Now, our O-line has a big task ahead of them because we've got to block these dudes. And let me tell you, man, they've got some formidable guys, on their defensive line. I believe it's 3 former first-round picks or 4 former first-round picks. We've got Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Linval Joseph, but he's on the back end of his career. Jordan Davis, Marlon, and the last name I'm not even going to attempt. But when you look at their leading sack guys, Javon Hargrave had 11 in the year. Hassan Reddick, the linebacker, had 16. He's a good linebacker, really, really great. Josh Sweat, 11. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come down to it, you look at Brandon Graham. He's got 11. So, yeah, 4 guys in double digits on the sacks. They had 70 for the year. They led the league. So that's cool. That's just really, really good when you go ahead and take a look at it. And then you flip over to us. And no, we didn't have anyone else in double digit sacks, but we did have a couple of guys who did some formidable things. Obviously, for us, we got Nick Bosa. He had 18 and a half. The next guy that was right behind him would have been Samson Ebukam with 5. Kevin Givens had 2. Charles Omenihu had 4.5. Drake Jackson had 3. Jordan Willis had 2. So we kind of spread it out, a little bit here and there. We only had 44 on the year as far as the sacks go. So, when it comes to defensive line, we are formidable and we're deeper. That's the thing. We are deeper at defensive line than they are. If those guys right now that I just named aren't the guys making the plays, that rotation is not going to do much. Like, they don't get too much pressure. So then you go ahead and you take a look at the linebackers. Linebackers are great. This is a great matchup, man. And I'm just being honest with you. I love what the linebackers have done throughout the season. For us, we got Fred, Dre, and Azeez. We already know how they move. These are guys that are cover sideline to sideline, go, up and down the field. They can, do everything. Their linebackers are TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, and Hassan Reddick, obviously. Reddick is the main guy out of all those dudes with the 11 sacks. He had 2 passes. Let's see here. I'm trying to find where he slipped to. Hassan Reddick. He had no, I apologize. Hassan Reddick had 16 sacks. Holy shit. 3 passes defense, 5 forced fumbles. That is insanity. So he is definitely a guy to key in on and try to stop. Like that, those are some insane ass numbers, man. That means that they use him to blitz a lot. When a linebacker has 16 sacks, that means he's coming off that edge ridiculous, ridiculously fast. Oh, don't worry, I'm dropping it in right at the end of the show, Terry Dome. I got to hear your sermon that you are going to give, and if you didn't catch Terradome on the Gritty Niners yesterday, man, he went in, and just aside, I hate following him up, but it gives me inspiration. So when I follow him up, it works out well. I kind of come off the top of the dome with this stuff, and it seems to pan out. I've been very fortunate to, have a good mouthpiece, have that gift of gab. When you hang around certain people in your life, they teach you different things. And yes, it's definitely not the best, but you learn how to talk. You know what I'm saying? It's real talk. Shout out Real Talk, not a talk. But yeah, man, it's definitely coming through. So when you look at the linebackers, they have some great linebackers. Their linebackers do good things, but they're not what we have, man. Our trio is way better than them. Now we can switch over to the DBs. We got Mooney, we got Demo, we got Jimmy Ward. Down the back end, we got Gipp and Huff. And then you flip over for them. Now we led the league in interceptions, like as far as the team total. If you look at us, we had a total of, I believe it was 20. Yeah, we had 20 interceptions. So we had 1 by Fred, 1 by Dre, 4 by Huff, 5 by Gipp. Then we have Mooney. Demo got 1. Jimmy Ward has 3. It's the most in his career. Let's see. We got, even though he's out for the rest of the year, Mosley still had 1. He had that 1 in the Carolina game before he got injured. Hell, George Odom even has 1 in garbage time. Womack has an interception this year. Drake Jackson has an interception this year. So it just shows you that we don't play games. Mooney has 11 passes defense. Gibbs got 8. Diamondo Lenore has 5. Fred's got 6. Huff has 9. So we're doing fairly well when it comes to that, man. And in total, 78 passes defense is fucking fantastic. That means you knock that ball down as much as you possibly can. For them now, they got 85 passes defense, so they present some formidable things. Their leading interception guy is C.J. Gardner-Johnson with 6. You have, let's see, Darius Slay's got 3. James Bradbury's got 3. Avonte Maddox, who possibly could come back for this game. I believe they're trying to activate him to see what's going on. He had 1 because he was injured. He only played 10 games this season. So, most of their guys are pretty formidable when it comes down to it. We got Marcus Epps as a safety. And he had his 6 passes defense. He didn't have any interceptions. But when it comes to the DBs, I'll give us a little bit of the edge here just because I like what Mooney and Demo bring to the game. I'm going to need Mooney to step all the way up. He cannot have a game like he's had these past couple of games versus CD and DK Metcalf. And it's just he's allowed. Both of those dudes have had 100-yard games. Now the issue is you can't blame Mooney all the way because the situation is we don't necessarily allow our number 1 DB to travel with their number 1 receiver. So he can kind of that receiver can move all over the field. He's just going to get who he gets, whether it be Mooney, Demo, or Jimmy Ward. Either one, you're going to get all of those guys. So I do appreciate everybody that's hanging out here with me, man. We got 18 people in the chat, man. I'm loving it. If you know somebody that watches 49er content, tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Share the stream. Really appreciate the love. So here's the next group. Basically, it's just special teams. And, you kind of toss that up, man. Ray had a fumble in the last game, but he redeemed himself right after that. So it's just Ray's got to keep the ball. He's got to be smart about it. When it comes to coach, I'm going to give the edge to Kyle Shanahan. He's got way more experience. And the one thing that the number one reason that I give Kyle Shanahan the edge in the coaching aspect is only due to the fact that this man's staff gets poached every single year. Somebody is stealing someone from us to give them a job, strictly based on the fact that they know that this coaching staff is flat out amazing. And We just have to, take that into account. So for me, just looking at the game as a whole, man, it's going to be, a crazy situation. Now let's look at their postseason stats really quick. So I gave you all the regular season stuff, but let's look at postseason. Let's just take a look. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, 154 yards, 66.7 completion percentage, 2 TDs, he's taking only 1 sack. He has a rushing TD, Kenneth Gainwell. He had a good game last game, 112 yards in the TD. Shit, that's 9.3 yards per carry on 12 attempts. Damn, that's real good. Not gonna be mad at that. But look at these receiving receiving numbers. And this is because they ran the ball so much. It was lopsided. So they ran the ball 44 fucking times and threw the ball 24 times. Here is the problem with that. You're going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Name the last team that ran the ball for 268 yards. I'll wait. And I'll be here until next year waiting for you to tell me, because there isn't a team that does that. We don't allow you to run on us like that. The QB runs are a little bit different because they're unexpected, and you just have to hopefully have somebody that can keep an eye on him. I would love a spy in this game, but I don't see it happening, man. Saleh didn't use spies, neither does DeMeco Ryans. Although DeMeco, honestly, over these past couple of years, he's been a little bit better than what Saleh brought. And it's no disrespect to Saleh. He's still doing a fantastic job, but I just feel like DeMeco has done a little bit better. He uses blitzes a little bit more. He does some different things. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the run game, we're not going to allow 268 yards. You'd be lucky to get 100. And you get 100 as a collective. That is not specifically one person. So that last game that you had, Gainwell, you can forget about that. You'd be lucky to get 60 if we're nice. So they're not going to get anything on us as far as that goes. When it comes to the run game like that. And then look at the receiving. Devontae Smith, 6 catches for 61 yards in the TD. Dallas Goedert, 5 catches for 58 yards and a TD. A.J. Brown didn't even score this game. He only had 3 catches for 22 yards. So, there's not much going on. So you have to keep a close eye on that. Flip over to the Niners and remind you this is 2 games worth of information, but nonetheless, we had to play because we weren't the number 1 seed, and they've taken that away from us as far as being the 1 and 2 seeds to have both have a bye week. It's only the 1 seed now. So Brock Purdy, 62.7 completion percentage, 546 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. He has been sacked 3 times, so we got to tighten that up. We got to keep him clean in this game, man, because if not, we can find ourselves in a really bad spot. So next up, when you look at it, Christian McCaffrey, stellar through those 2 games. 154 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry. He had a TD, so we're good on that. Elijah Mitchell, even though we haven't used him very much, I guess they're still trying to monitor him. And they're monitoring Mitchell just like they monitored Javon Kinlaw. They're basically saying, hey, we're going to, make sure we keep a close eye on things and not allow you to get injured again. Although we still have Jordan Mason, so I'm not too worried if he does. But, only 53 yards. He only averaged 2.3 yards a carry. He hasn't been able to get going in these playoffs. That's the shitty part. Debo, we use him in the backfield. He's got 43 yards, 6.1 yards per carry. So, the main 2 guys that we're looking at are Debo and McCaffrey, and those 2 dudes are averaging over 6 yards a carry. So I'm not mad at that. When you slide down to the receivers, Debo, 10 catches, 178 yards over these 2 games in the TD. George Kittle, 7. He has 7 targets. He has 7 catches. George Kittle has not dropped a pass in the playoffs. That's beautiful. That is fucking fantastic. I did not know that. He's got 132. He's averaging 18.9 yards a fucking catch. This is why I said Dallas Goedert ain't shit compared to George Kittle. You need to think about that. The man ain't dropped a pass, and he's averaging almost 19 yards a fucking catch. Yeah. That's the fuck I'm talking about. When you take a look at it. And I mean, Dallas Goedert, what you got? 11.6 yards a catch. You got a little TD. That's cute. You know what I'm saying? But BA, he's got 5 catches for 99 yards, averaging 19.8 yards a catch. Even Jawan Jennings, 4 catches for 67 yards, 16.8 yards per catch. So if you look at these guys, man, we out here doing the damn thing. We are really out there pushing and doing what we're supposed to do in the playoffs right now. Eric Armstead and Charles Omenihu are leading us with sacks. Omenihu has 2, Armstead has 1, and Samson Ebukam has 1. Now, Nick Bosa does not have a sack in the postseason. It looks like he's been kind of getting, slowed down or shut down. And I'm going to say this just because I know if he ever sees this stream, it'll motivate him. I hope that Kyle Shanahan is talking shit to Nick Bosa and going, these last 2 games, man, these little punk ass pressures you've been having, they mean nothing to us. We need you to get home. Nick, you suck. You look bad. You're getting bullied by fucking nobodies. Come on, man. You can do better than that. Last time he said that to Nick Bosa, I think he had like a 3-sack game. He went ape shit. So let's hope that he's got that kind of motivation for him when it comes down to it. So for the Eagles, Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweater, they're guys. Both of them have 1.5 sacks. Then you've got Brandon Graham. He has 1. Fletcher Cox has 1. So, when you look at that, that's 5 sacks in total for them during the postseason. We've got 4. So those numbers are not, crazy disparaging, nothing different. Yes, theirs are in 1 and ours are in 2, but, it is what it is. So then when you look at it, they got about 6 passes defense. We have 7. We actually have 3 interceptions in the postseason. They have 1, and that came from, looks like James Bradbury right there. So that tells you that these defenses are fairly evenly matched. You know what I'm saying? As far as what the information is that we have there. Rocky Mountain Razorback, what's going on, baby? Shout out to Edgar B. Bob Jones in his house. I love it. Rob B. R. Everybody in here, man. So when you look at this game overall, I went over everything. I'm going to give you an X factor. My X factor on defense is going to be Fred Warner. Will they use him as a spy? Will he wind up covering Dallas Goedert? What things will Fred Warner bring to the table? Anything that they throw at him, I believe he is capable of doing it, and he is that good. So I will say this, Fred Warner will make shit happen. Love the guy. I already know he's going to do things. On offense, for me, is CMC. Get him involved and get him involved early and often. Get him running, man. Like, get him going early and quick. And the faster you do that, the faster you wear down that defense. Here's the thing. Washington had a really good blueprint. They just never allowed them to have the ball. If we can have 10-minute drives and come out with scoring, come out with 7 at the end of them, that works. The less time that Jalen Hurts has the ball, the harder it's going to be for him to score. CJ Gray, what's happening with you? So there's blueprints to beat this team. They barely beat a couple of teams this season, man. So I know a lot of people were definitely taking a look at that, but let me see real quick, because I know Philly had a couple of close games. I mean, I'm not saying we were, over the top stellar all year long, but Philly did have a few close games, and I'm going to try to take a look at them because I believe they barely beat the Colts. Like, there's a lot going on. So first win of the season for them, they barely scraped past the Lions, 38-35. Shout out to the Lions. They had a fantastic season. So they barely scraped past the Lions. Let's see. Barely got past the Cardinals, who were trash. Let's keep taking a look at it. Let's go. Barely got past the Colts. They had to beat them 17-16. They had a nice little battle with the Pack, but that's nothing to be, concerned with. And then in their 2 losses, Jalen Hurts was not playing. It was versus the Cowboys and versus the Saints, but the defense was still on the field. That defense that everybody talks shit about, that says how great they are, that don't mean not a damn thing to anyone, because that defense was still on the field for both of them L's versus the Saints and the Cowboys. The offense only mustered 10 points versus the Saints, but they did put up 34 versus the Cowboys. Now, that's the NFC East matchup, so those teams are going to play each other hard. But either way, all I'm saying is that they wound up struggling against some weak-ass teams. So it's not that they've been just destroying any and everybody. It's just that, hey, at the end of the day, man, you got to play who you play. So I am going to put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to come on. I'll give you a few minutes to say your piece. But when you are here, this is a little bit different than other places. So let me explain the rules to you. Other places have rules. I don't have rules. This segment, and I'm gonna get with my dog, my dog Don from Real Talk Niner Talk, man, because I'm gonna put something together. It's called Talk Yo Shit. I'm gonna give everybody at least about a minute or two to go ahead and state your piece and say why we're gonna win this game. Because Eagles fans have been hella disrespectful. Media, hella disrespectful. Y'all are out of here just putting us on blast as if we just some fucking chump ass team and we weak. We can't do nothing. Shady McCoy, you are over the top with being a homer right now, my guy. You need to get it together. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat, man. If you want to come on and hang out with your boy, I'll drop it in there. Like I said, I'm only gonna do it for just a few, just not too long, just because I don't want. Let's see. I don't even know what they're talking about right now. So I'm gonna drop this link in the chat real quick. Give me just a hot second. What's that? Oops. Let's see. Paste. Yep. All right. So I put the link in the chat. Y'all should see it pop up right there. If you want to come in and hang out with your boy, it's all good, CJ. I know you would have definitely came in and talked your shit. But I went ahead and put the link in the chat. So if you want to come on and hang out with your boy, I'll give y'all a couple of minutes to file in here. In the process of that, I will definitely go ahead and let you know. Fuck Shady McCoy. Forget all of these people out here, man. Y'all can kiss my ass talking that shit. All of you Eagles fans, coming at our Niner fans out of left field, telling us what you going to do to us when you see us at the stadium, all that crap. Y'all can kiss my ass. You ain't doing none of that, because I'll tell you right now, man, one guy, shout out to Eric Crocker. Somebody basically, talked a whole bunch of shit to him. He saw them in person. They wanted no smoke, none. So don't play with us. And don't think that we chumps. Let me explain something to you. We are from California, okay? And I'm going to say this, and I want y'all to just understand this. We come from very, very tough places. The Bay is no joke. Don't go on to Oakland thinking it's a game. Don't go on to Frisco thinking it's a game. Don't go on to LA thinking it's a game. Don't go to Brompton thinking it's a game. Don't go to Inglewood thinking it's a game. Don't play with us in California. Don't think that we soft, because it's not who we are. And then at the same time, our Niner fans come from everywhere, all over the country. Now, I got the man, the myth, the legend waiting in the background. He hit that link real quick. So this is no longer Terror Dome. And when he comes on, he has one of the coldest hats I've seen in a very long time. This right here is Frisco Red. Terror Dome, what's going on, good brother?
Hey, bro. I'm getting geek.
I'm telling you right now, y'all, he's in a mood.
I ain't gonna change it. Don't you know it's a way of life? Philly, I'm about to get up on it. And I'm about to break it. Oh, baby. Can't stop the stun. No.
Right.
Hey, let me tell y'all Philly fans something. Anybody who don't want a head coach, all on the videos, all on the camera, acting like he tough, come to San Fran and be a star. Philly, I done seen you. Y'all had a nice 8-game winning streak. Round of applause. In that 8-game winning streak, y'all feasted on some lesser and inferior opponents, and you ran it up with your little stats. You got 70 sacks, and it's against the Commanders in their transition, the Giants in their little transition, 7 sacks against the hapless New Orleans Saints, who we shut out. This is for the national media. It might not even be all y'all fault, Philly. Forgive us. It ain't all y'all fault. I just see a whole bunch of national media thinking y'all the greatest thing since sliced bread because you boat raced a punkified Giants team.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what I'm about to unleash on you. You have no idea how the San Francisco 49ers roll. Come 3 o'clock Sunday, Frisco Red be up there and he want his money. I don't want to hear nothing from you but run my chip. Run my chip. We play D around here. Tell him, Dion.
So let me give y'all a
around here. We play D around here. Say what you need to say, man.
let me tell y'all this right here. So what Frisco Red did for y'all is he just opened the door to 1991 Source Awards. For anybody that's a hip hop head in here, Real Talk Now to Talk, I know y'all will get this. He basically pulled a Suge Knight on you. Let me tell you something. If there was one man that ran a company that was more feared than Suge Knight, I don't know who he is. Because Suge played no games. When Suge came around, people ran. Nobody wanted to deal with him. You know why? He's a very imposing figure. Suge is an ex-NFL player. Yes, believe me, people, I'm not playing. Look it up. Played for the Rams.
Rebel from UNLV.
Yes, sir. And Suge Knight was a bully. Suge Knight's been to jail. He's your proverbial everyday, AKA thug. Suge is from Bounty Hunters. That's a blood gang in LA. I know. Been around them. Very rough crowd. You know what I'm saying? Good people. Don't cross them. But Suge said that at the Source Awards, and he referred to Diddy. So we're going to go ahead and treat Nick Sirianni as Diddy. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go Nick Sirianni, he all in the camera.
All in the camera.
You know, you out there and, you know,
dancing.
We'll go ahead. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll say, you out here.
They like class, Dion.
We
could have ran the score up on a couple of people, particularly Seattle, our nemesis. But it was the class of an organization that said, no, that ain't how we do things.
Oh, they did have to
go ahead and stop. And we ain't going for a point total or nothing, because a true cobra strikes with just enough venom even to knock out an elephant or a mongoose.
Yep.
A real cobra comes after you with just enough. We save them points, but I tell you what, come Sunday, come tomorrow, you're going to need some of them points. You're going to need some of them sacks. You're going to need some of them interceptions. And let me tell you about these defensive linemen they got. Ndamukong Suh, Joseph Limbo. If it was that commercial with the aunts, I don't know if y'all seen that Geico commercial.
Oh, yeah. Expired.
Expired.
Yeah.
This is a way of life for us, man. We were in the championship game last year, and it wasn't good enough. If my safety would have had something other than oven mitts, boxing gloves on his hand, I would have been marching in that Super Bowl. But God is good. And let me tell you something about Mr. Brock Purdy. Real quick. Brock Purdy is the best that ever did it in his rookie year. I said it. There was an incredible man of God back in 2013. Hey, Dion, he said something real outlandish, and it is recorded on the Mercury News. It's recorded in the paper. He said, look, I done been around this game a long time. He was a basketball coach. He said, I got the best shooting backcourt there has ever been in the history of the NBA. Everybody laughed at my man. His name was Mark Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody said, oh, what does Mark know? Oh my God. he must be having CTE or something. How can he talk about he's got the best backcourt that shoots ever? That backcourt was Thompson and Clay. You know, it was Clay Thompson and the great Steph Curry. It ain't got to take somebody who know the game long to see the nimbleness on Brock Purdy, his preparation, his ready, his focus, and that God on him.
Mm-hmm.
I got everything I need, and I would rather have Brock Purdy than any other quarterback. That's who's supposed to be running this thing right now.
Yes, sir.
Y'all gonna come up with excuses about, well, we lost, a couple of games and stuff because Jalen was hurt. Jalen, the best Jalen is Jalen Rose. I think it was saying Jalen hurt. Jalen hurts. He was hurt. He was hurt. We done went through 3 quarterbacks. You think you can bring that up? We play ball around here. We're going to get down and we're going to get it.
Yes, sir.
It's time to shut it up, cash in your Kellogg's. And let me shout out for Philly before I tip on out and give this to Rocky Mountain Razorback. Shout out to you, my brother.
Shout right back.
Philly is known for their sounds of Philly. So if y'all need to gamble, because Huff will be up there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They like Jill Scott getting in the way of what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of this, we're going to have some boys go to men. And y'all going to be singing End of the Road. I said it. I mean it. I stand on it. It has been your pleasure. God bless and keep banging.
Frisco Red, man. That you couldn't have said it better myself, man. Y'all got to understand the game that the man just gave you. And anybody that's from Philly that's watching this, you got to pay close attention. Be smart. Because if you didn't catch everything that he just laid down for you, you're blind, deaf, and dumb. You're not paying attention. So remember, Rocky.
See the red and gold?
I see it right there. I see it. That hat is hardcore. Now, remember, Rocky Mountain Razorback. We know holds barred in here, man. Talk to these Philadelphia Eagles. Let them know what we about to do, man, because I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm really tired of all the shit talking. I'm tired of the media. Shady McCoy, you need to shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? You just overly being a homer right now instead of looking at the game from an objective standpoint. All the media out there picking us to lose. All of y'all. The Rocky Mountain Razorback, talk to him, man. Let him know what's going on.
Number one, when that fucking coach gets in the camera and I can't wait to fucking wipe that smile off his face this weekend, bro. Like that right there was enough for me to want to shut that shit down. We're going to shut that shit down. And last weekend, I broke my damn hip last weekend. I was watching the damn game in the emergency room on my side, dog. I'm laid up right now. I'm going to be screaming with my red and gold on. I don't give a fuck if it hurts me to go upstairs and get my jersey on. I'm going to wear that bitch. I'm hurting, and this fucking team needs to show out right. We ain't crying for no injuries for nobody. How many guys we had injured? How many years in a row we've been the most injured team? Thank you. You think one guy makes your team? One guy don't mean shit. So all I know is they better come ready. And they really need to watch out for Hurts. I know you were saying earlier we don't need any stupid penalties. Maybe just one. Maybe we just set the tone early on one of those. Just let them know. Hey, you're going to fucking run it around here? Somebody's going to punish you. You want to try to dip out of bounds real quick? Well, sorry, let's not do it late in the game. You know what I mean? But sometimes you got to set the tone, let them know. So all I'm looking for is these boys to put their damn pads on and to light these motherfuckers up, dude. Because it's been too damn long. We've 3 out of 4 years made to NFC Championship game. We did that shit with Harbaugh as well. Go 3 years in a row, not come home with shit. This is it. It's over. This has been 6 damn trips now without nothing. We got to fucking come home with something.
Yes, sir.
So that's all I got to say.
I agree with both of y'all, man. See, for me, it's very simple. We're going to treat this just as I stated yesterday. We're going to treat this is literally going to be a pimp and hoe situation. Okay? Now, see, we got to treat Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Hurts like they done been out on that track and haven't earned a dime and/or are holding out. See, let me tell you something. when I was younger, and I know my mom watching the show, she gonna kill me. I hung out with some not too normal folks. I
Speak on
did.
it.
You know what I'm saying? They helped me with a lot. I got gamed up by some of the coldest cats out there you could think of. And they taught me to understand how to be able to lay the game down and how to be able to get what you need from life. So I took their rules and I used it in my own life and in different aspects. So here's my thing. Nick Sirianni, you've been out here hoeing for a while, man. It's been 17 games, and I ain't seen a dime. I want my money. Devontae Smith, your little frail ass? Yeah, man, no, I said I send you to Vegas because they like skinny people out there. But you still haven't come back with my money. AJ, yeah, man, I give you, you are a special clientele because you're built like an Adonis. There are people that like that. So I keep you in Cali because you can get a lot of money out there, but I haven't gotten my damn money. Mr.
These
Game,
boys ain't.
you out here chilling, doing things, trying to run roughshod all over people. Here's the difference. I still haven't gotten my damn money. So here's the thing. There's several ways we can do this. You can pay up and I can charge this to the game. Or I can come into your house and backhand the shit out of you and take my fucking money. I can come into your house and look around and go, you know what? That's a nice TV. Give me that. You know what? I like them couches. Take that shit outside. I could go in and say, you know what? This sounds hollow right here. Would you look at that? There's my fucking money. You've been holding out on me. What I have to do as a defense is I have to come in here and treat you like someone who ain't paid up. I'm going to treat you like the mob. You got some real nice knees, AJ. So do you, Devontae. Dallas, you're a little old, but you still got some nice knees too. You haven't paid your debts. Tomorrow, it's time to pay up.
These boys ain't battle tested, bro. They haven't been here yet.
Hey,
They
we
ain't
are
never seen
coming
this
from
before,
all the
dude.
smoke, man.
We've all been there.
You don't know. They
Every
don't
up
know
and
what
down
it
the
is.
roster, been there, dude.
They don't
Let's
know
go.
what it is. You don't know what it is.
They ain't ready.
And
They ain't
that
ready.
blasphemy, y'all don't know what it
Overlook
is.
Overlook us. I want you overlook us.
Love
Talk your shit. Believe your fans. Because let me tell you something. Philly fans are I'll tell you right now, and it's not all of them, but most of them are the worst. They'll boo you in a second.
Oh man.
And I can tell you this: the beauty of us sending them home is, as we send them home, as they go home crying, they're sad, they're hurt. It feels like this is the end of the world because they lost this game. You know what else they have to think about? The Philadelphia Phillies went to the World Series, and what happened? You lost. So I'm just gonna say this, man. There is nothing I'm afraid of. I want you to understand Philadelphia. You're coming in there with the meanest backhand you've ever seen in your life. If y'all remember the movie How High, it's gonna be pimping since been pimping since been pimping since been pimping.
Dude, and think about this too. Just think about the cities, dude. Like we're the class of all sports. We got the Warriors dynasty. Giants had dynasties. We've Niners dynasty. Come on now, bro. Come on. It's the class versus the ass of the sports world. And we need to go ahead and shut this shit down and go ahead and put that number 6 on. Because I don't give a damn who's in the AFC. I don't care if it's the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, fucking one-legged ass. We're coming. This is a different team. This is a different mentality this time.
Yes, I'd rather
be dead.
Spinning around and in around.
Hey, look, man.
Although we've come
to the end of the road. I'm telling you, Philly gonna be mad, man. See, you know what they thinking? They thinking ABC, BBD, the East Coast family. That's what they doing. They in the break, they in their locker room, like, hey man, Motown Philly back again. No, it's not gonna happen. No. We coming in. You know what we doing? We coming in there, we kicking over your stereo, we looking at everybody, and we just walking through and going, what are y'all gonna do when we come to town? What are you gonna do when Fred Warner hits you? What are you gonna do when Dre Greenlaw lays a smack down on your candy ass, to quote The Rock? What are you going to do when Nick Bosa realizes I ain't had no sacks this playoff run? I ain't gonna might go
check,
give me
Nick.
a little Jalen Hurts.
Earn your goddamn check. That's all I got to say.
And here's
You want
the
that money?
thing. No, he has no sacks. Yeah, he's
Right.
created a lot
You
of
gotta
pressure.
earn that
No
check.
sacks. It's Omenihu had 2 and Armstead had the other one. But this is the thing. You know what, Kyle? You know what Kyle is doing? Every time he sees Nick, you suck, man. You ain't got no sacks in the playoffs, bro. This is just killing me. Look, okay, instead of you going over here doing a pass rush move on the hand sanitizer machine, why don't you do that on the field? And you know what happened the last time he did that? I believe Nick Bosa had 3 sacks.
That's what Bill Parcells said. He said that about Lawrence Taylor. He said the great ones, all you got to do is show them the competition.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're so great, the only competition is yourself. I'm just asking everybody, man, if the 49ers push themselves to what they are, I have no doubt, I have no qualm, I have no reservation. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts, no supposes, no coke up your noses, a dope in your veins, and then it won't cause no kinds of strain.
Hey,
I know I got a full house. No, I ain't got a full house. I got a royal flush. I'm ready to roll out on anybody. Let me go Ric Flair.
Oh,
it
man.
doesn't matter where the game will be played. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Cincinnati, Ohio, Kansas City, Missouri. You gotta walk that out. I'm a jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun.
Yes, sir.
And it's getting hard laying these alligators down. I'm coming for what's mine. It takes a champion, and you got to understand the heart of a champion. We were just an inkling away last year. I'm coming all the way back, rolling it all the way back to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm getting what's mine. Go ahead and hand it over. You mediocrity fans. I was on Rambo last night. One of them called in, man, and he said, "Oh well, we got a good team." Whoa! I said, "What?" Rambo said, "Well, can you name 5 guys off of your defense?" He said, I'll call you back tomorrow." Rambo said, "You know, Rambo is, hey, the show is right now. We're live. Okay, Deron.
Yeah, you got to shoot for the hip. Yeah, if you ain't ready, he will let you go."
And then he said, "Hey, do you know your defensive coordinator's name?" He said, "Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow." Dude, this is a way of life around here, man. This is something so different. We're breaking down not only who is good for our team, not only who can help our team. We have to push a couple of people out. Hey, we gave you Trey Sermon. These are people who can't be on this squad. We rolling so deep. We are going to hit you with death by 1,000 cuts. Sometimes it's going to be Kittle. Sometimes it's going to be Ayuk. Sometimes it's going to be Deebo Samuel. Sometimes it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. Sometimes it's going to be Elijah Mitchell. Sometimes, and I really would like Mr. Jordan Mason to hit you in the movie Rush Hour.
Hell yeah.
In the movie Rush Hour, man, I think it was Rush Hour 2. Remember Chris Tucker was fighting them Chinese guys, man? And man, one of them just said, "Whoa!" Chris, he said, "Which one of y'all kicked me?"
Which one?
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you.
So this is not Saquon Barkley. This is not Danny Dimes or Danny Pennies or Danny Pesos.
Nothing.
It's here, Brock Purdy, yo. The greatest in the history of the league as a rookie. I said it. Better than Jalen Hurts.
And see,
Better than everybody you know.
Yes, sir.
Our winning streak, they're giving y'all credit for this big win streak you had early, which was 8 games. I went to Virginia Public Schools. We're on 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
That is 50% more than your best winning streak. And then Washington Commanders came and saw you. That's when I knew. I was like Marvin Hagler watching Sugar. I was like Sugar Ray Leonard watching Hagler Hearns. And Sugar Ray said, "Oh, I got him." I watched those Commanders punch y'all in the mouth. Shout out to Bill Jarvis, Henrico High School back in 1986. He said, "Look, some people run around here and act like bullies. You know you handle a bully? You punch his ass square in the mouth."
Mm-hmm.
And when he picking up his chicklets, like Mr. Wilson on Dennis the Menace, you flow to him like ain't no tomorrow. Be fast, be focused, be physical, and be relentless.
And they're playing for the crown and jewel of all sports rings, if y'all really think about this. It's
Yeah.
going to be the 6th Lombardi and the newest team to do that in 2023. Come on, y'all know that ring is going to be nice, bro. Y'all know that all these rings are playing for the crowning jewel of all sports rings. That's what this Niners championship will be. Can you imagine that? Think about that. There'll be rings next year that go out that won't be as nice as what they're going to have.
Yeah, it's great. And for me, man, when I'm looking at these guys, see, I left this comment up here, man. See, Philly gonna get a left. See, Philly is a left hook. See, I'm left-handed, and my mother's left-handed. Now, as you know, as kids, we all screw up. I had to feel that left hook. Don't feel good. Tell you right now, Philly, if y'all get the left hook from my mama, good night. Go to bed. You can forget that one because it's not about to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I want y'all to understand, as anybody watches this stream, we want you guys to be riled up. Even if you are not at the game, the energy that we all bring as a collective 49er faithful unit, it becomes exuded to the team.
Yes, sir.
They get that. They feel that. They know that. When they're at home, they see and understand how much we mean. See, here's the thing. When the COVID year is being played and people were like, "Oh, well, you know, the fans don't really matter. It's not that big of a deal." Every last person who said that was a lie. Yep. You need those fans. You need that energy. Think about it like this. If I'm a boxer and I go out and I fight, but ain't nobody there to watch for my first couple of fights, you know what? I understand. Why? Because I haven't established myself yet. But if I'm Mike Tyson, or if I'm Gervonta Davis, or I'm Evander Holyfield, I expect asses in the seats for y'all to watch me knock the shit out of somebody. So we're going to go into Philadelphia. We're going to walk right through them doors, and they're going to be talking and cussing and yelling, and they don't like us and all this other stuff. Here's the thing. All of the shit talking you doing, all of that mouth you've been running, we're going to shut it up. We're going to come in and we're going to hit you with an uppercut. You know what that's going to do? That's going to make your teeth click. And then when you decide to stumble backwards and try to go ahead and regain your composure, there is not going to be any stopping. There's going to be continual punches. My father taught me one thing, very, very smart. God rest his soul. He said, "Son, you ever get in a fight? Hit a man right here, right in the bridge of the nose." He said, "You know why?" I said, "No." He said, "Because it makes their vision blurry. Your eyes will water. You can't see, how you gonna fight?" He said, "Son, ain't no the Chinese, the karate movies you watch, man, come on, man. You know, somebody blindfolding themselves and doing it. How many people you gonna run into the streets like that? Very rare that you gonna find somebody that has that kind of talent walking down the street. But if you are presented with a fight and you started that way, you have literally given yourself every advantage you can think of by blinding your opponent. So Philly, we coming. We coming to punch you straight right in the nose, right here in the bridge, right here.
That's where it's at.
If I punch you hard enough right here, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna blur your vision and I'm gonna break your nose.
Be
And
fast.
you know what's gonna happen? There's gonna be a waterfall of blood flowing out of your nose. We want to leave the Philadelphia Eagles bloody, battered, and we want to see them on that field, laid out, sprawled out, crying, and running back to their mamas, running back to their wives. You know, we want that little kid coming in going, Daddy, it's okay. You'll get him next year. We want you to be in purgatory mentally for the rest of this year until the new season starts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We are here to come in and give you that fight. You know what this is? I'm gonna tell you, this is what the media has made this. The media has made this Drago versus Rocky. The media has turned that into that. And you know what happened? We don't know about any Apollo Creeds because we have no allegiance to any other teams in this league except for the 49ers. But I'll tell you this. You are, from what the media says, an immovable object. You can't be stopped. You're so great. You are the best of the best. Well, here you go. Let me tell you something. I am going to use a little bit of the Bible. There was a young man.
Go ahead, my brother.
There was a young man named David.
David.
Very young man. Quiet, calm, cool, collected. There was a very giant person named Goliath. Everyone was afraid of Goliath because of how big he was and how scary he was.
That's it.
What did he kill him with, Pterodon?
A smooth stone right between the eyes.
Simple. That's it. It didn't take much. It didn't take much. That's all it took was one stone.
See, let me piggyback on that, boy. You're gonna make me preach. 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 David was the youngest and the smallest amongst his brethren. They had big, pretty brethren. Jesse was their dad, and Samuel came and he said, God didn't say this one. He said, but he's big. Look at him. He said, no. He said, show me another one. He had 7 other sons, and he had one that was real good looking, looked like Jimmy G. He said, no, that ain't the one. He said, do you have any other sons? Do you have any other sons? He said, well, I got my little one, but he out there tending sheep and defending. He said, but he's short. He's irrelevant. The 262nd pick. He ain't got it. You know, he ain't. He said, bring him here. Bring him here.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as God saw him, he knew that he had been slaying bears and slaying lions, protecting the sheep. He said, that there is the one.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like it. He didn't act like he won't from the right place. And that's the problem with our 49er fans sometimes. That's the problem with the national media sometimes. You don't look at the outward appearance. God says, looketh at the heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that heart. When we came up playing Little League football, you had to hit. Sometimes you would hit and see stars. You know, this was before.
Oh, yeah.
But the older cats, man, them big dudes, Freaky Rod Morton, shout out. James Thorpe, shout out. They would tell me, oh, dude got heart out here. Dude got heart out. He got more heart than all y'all. And Brock prepares. And then he processes, and he's got that nimble of feet. And if y'all go back, and I probably shouldn't say this on I'm recorded, man. Me and the great Tom House, Tom Brady's coach. We're Twitter friends, man. We Twitter friends, and we talk about people's aesthetic and how they're throwing and the science of throwing a football. Y'all slow down Brock Purdy's fundamentals of passing. He always puts that hand over his foot and has that nice, pretty high elbow with a release just at his brim.
Exactly.
Ain't been but a couple that hold that thing just like that. And their names were Tom Brady Dan Marino, Drew Brees.
And who does Brock Purdy love?
Bruh.
Dan Marino. Why does he wear 13? Dan Marino. What was Dan Marino? One of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Now, no, he didn't win a ring, but Dan Marino wasn't no joke. Okay,
Dan Marino had the most.
that man had a cannon.
A quarterback must study Dan Marino's aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
how he delivers a football. You would, if y'all go back and look at Tim Tebow and even my man Colin Kaepernick, I begged them to get with Tom House. Their arm is out flailing a little bit, and this leads to left and right and up and down sometimes.
Facts.
But y'all look at Brock Purdy releasing a football.
Mm-hmm.
Even on, I think one time in college, the dude was sideways and still had his hand right there where you're supposed to have it. He was falling and did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing things. God is revealing things that man can't even see. It's foolishness to him. I heard you, Colin Coward. I heard you, all of these other people.
Mm-hmm.
Shady McCoy, you national media type. Y'all up on some other stuff. Round here, we study the art, the science, the stewardship of football, man. We're in the chats during the daggone draft and arguing about, man, we needed a corner. Oh, Lord, we needed this and that. Oh, well, he's a third round pick. He's a second round pick. Well, I don't know about that value on him. We know the salary cap, man. And then you have the nerve, Philadelphia Eagles fans, to get on a national show and not know 5 players off of your defense.
Come on, bro.
Let me tell you this. Because this is gonna be it. Because I got to get going. I got to get up and have some breakfast with the wife. I will give y'all one scene from a movie that you guys have all probably seen. Y'all remember the movie Troy?
Yes, sir.
With Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm gonna tell you. The national media, and a lot of people don't know who this dude is. The national media has brought out Nathan Jones. Remember the beginning of the movie? The big dude came up from that group when I forget dang it, what was his name? It's like Archimedes or something like that. He was trying to conquer more land. And they brought their best warrior out. Now, Nathan Jones was an ex-wrestler, and he's done a couple of little movies here and there, but this is a massive human being. I'm talking about Nathan Jones got to be at least like 6'7", almost 300, but he's built like a brick house. And you know what he does? Oh, Agamemnon. That was his name. Agamemnon. Yeah. So he says, Achilles! But Achilles is nowhere to be found. He's chilling. So what do? They tell somebody, hey, go get this dude. Achilles is asleep with several women, I might add. And somebody comes into his tent and says, hey, they need you. And he looks and he goes, all right. Gets up, puts on his armor. And the kid says to him, that is a very, that's a very large warrior. I would never want to fight him. And you know what Achilles told him? That is why no one will remember your name.
Oh.
And you know what Achilles did? He got on his horse. He rode to the battlefield. And this big dude, he just turns around. He riles up his army. Ah! So Achilles hops off his horse. Looks at Agamemnon like, you piece of trash. I don't have time for this. But I'll do it. He starts running. Guy throws a spear. He throws another spear. Boom. Caught it with my shield. And he keeps running. And that man is just standing there ready and wait. In his mind, there is nothing that can stop me. In Achilles' mind, I have already, while I have been running, while you have been throwing spears, my game plan has been set out. I know where I am going to strike, and I know how to stop someone as large as you. Do I want to tussle with you? Do I want to get into a wrestling match with you? No, I don't. I want to end this, and I want to end it now. He ran. Step left, step right, up off that right foot. He took that sword, put it right into he literally severed everything and came back out. That man dropped to his knees, fell, and he was dead. And he looked and he asked them, Is there no one else? Is there no one else? And you know what that king did?
What'd you do?
And this is what Coach Sirianni is going to do. He's going to walk over. Give this to your king. See, the difference is that's Brock Purdy. And he's doing that to Jalen Hurts. And when Nick Sirianni looks and he says, give this to your king, Brock Purdy's going to do this. Go sit down somewhere. We have no time for peasants. We have no time for people who think that they are above everyone. We have no time for your misplaced confidence. All we have time for is going to the Super Bowl. Enjoy your ride home, Eagles. Enjoy everything that you have had all season long. Enjoy the fact that Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown were 1,000-yard receivers. Enjoy the fact that you ran for over 2,500 yards as a collective unit.
To the Pro Bowl you guys get.
Yeah.
That's real nice.
I
got some requests for some a little bit of Rick Flair. Let me give it to you. Let me give it that Rick Flair.
Yes, sir.
There you go. That's that 89 right there. That's that 89. The diamond ring wearing, Rolex wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, son of a gun. And it's getting hard holding these alligators down. 3 o'clock, we unleash. Be a part of it. If not, convert yourself. I'm converting, I'm convicting, and I am convincing. Come tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. Frisco Red be in town, y'all. Have his money.
Hey, and I'm telling you right now, Jay in the Bay, what's going on, good brother? I will say this to you. What's going on? We are here. We want the smoke. We want all of the problems. And for you Philly fans and for all you media people out there, in the words of The Rock, we're coming to lay the smackdown on your candy ass. We gonna rock bottom. We dropping the people's elbow. We've got the people's tight end in our home. Stone Cold Kittle will be there. And I'm telling you right now, the win is going to the Niners. And that's the bottom line because the Niner faithful said so. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate everyone for gracing us with your presence. Rocky Mountain Razorback, Terradome, and Not a Game Podcast is signing off.